Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife video for you. Today, I hope is what's going to be a fun one. It's Saturday when I'm putting this up. I don't like to put serious videos up on Saturdays. It's not usually like my highest view day or anything. So I try and do something a bit different when I remember to, and today I did. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through my Spyderco collection, and I'm going to rank them. I did do a video a while ago of my Spyderco collection, and I just showed everybody what I had at the time. And I forgot a couple. A couple have left, a couple new ones have come in, so it's different from that anyway, but also I'm going to rank them this time, and sure, I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this. I did include birds in it, Spyderco's budget brand, because I do have a couple of those. So let's get going. These are just my personal taste. These are just the ones I own. These aren't like top 10 like all-time Spydercos, or there's more than 10 on this. I think I have 16 now. I have a problem, but it's just ranking the ones that I own, how I feel about them. So here we go. A lot of them are in this this Spyderco Spidey pack. These things are great to store knives in. I really like them. They have nice see-through pouches and everything. So this isn't all of them. Yeah, just give you a little quick look at what those look like. And I have several of these. I don't just put Spydercos in them. I put all kinds of stuff in them. They're my favorite little way to store a knife. So now let's get going. In the bottom, we're going to go from worst to best, but I like all these. I still have them, and I think every single one on here I have no intentions of getting rid of, so I like all of them. But the least favorite would probably be, this is a Bird Cara 2. It is the G10 handle version. The G10 birds get overlooked a lot. I really like the quality of them. They feel really nice. This is basically Bird's version of the Endura. I don't like the Endura as much. I'm not a huge fan of the VG10 plasticky handle Spydercos, although you're going to see one at least here in a little bit. But I do like the G10 Bird ones a little bit better. It's a bit heavy. It's a bit big. It's 8CR13 MOV wah. So that's why it's in last, I guess, of my my Spyderco collection. Next up is also a Bird, and that would be the new Bird Harrier 2. I really like the design of this knife. It's basically their version of the Endella. Again, the G10 handle. I really do like it a whole lot. I love the overall design, but it's, again, 8CR. I don't find myself carrying it very often, but I do really appreciate the design. And I do really wish that that they made it in the like BD1 like they did the Raven 2. The Raven 2 is a fantastic knife, by the way. That would be pretty far up this list if I still had one. I did wind up selling it. I'm not 100% sure why. I probably should get another one. It was a great knife, but if I had that, it'd be much higher up the list. But it's 8CR, so this one's still down pretty low. Next up would be a knife that I don't carry at all anymore, but I really enjoyed it when I did. This used to be my keychain knife, but I tried to reduce the size of my keychains a little bit. This is a Spyderco Grasshopper. I had it, like I said, as a keychain knife. I think I got it free for buying something else, and it came along, and I like the stainless steel and everything of it. I don't remember what the steel on the blade is, because I didn't really like, it's just a keychain knife. So it's 12C27, so not a bad steel. It was just a cool little, slip joint knife to put on my keys for a while. Since I stopped using it on my keys, I don't really carry it as much anymore. Next up would be, this is the newest edition, and I got this in the Give a Knife, Take a Knife pass around, and I took it, and I really like it. And maybe if I did this video 2 months from now, it might be higher up the list, but right now it's the Spyderco Insistent. It's a little short bladed knife again, but the G10, it's one of their budget ones. It's 8CR again, which I don't like, but I thought we were going to get BD1 on all these, and then we didn't, and I'm disappointed by that. But the ergos on it are just fantastic for a small little knife like this. Easy 4-finger grip, and I really like it. Downsides are it's a bit heavy, and it's 8CR. And the action isn't like fantastic on it, but on a tiny little knife like this, it's almost impossible to get a tiny little knife like this to be drop shutty. So I don't really mind that as much. Ambidextrous carry, just a nice little fifth pocket knife. Takes up a lot of that fifth pocket. Now, it takes up every bit of it, and I don't put anything else in it anyway. But still, yeah, it's just cool. This is one that I like a lot more than I thought I would. I have not done the full review of it, but it's better than the sum of its parts. Next up, let me put this one back away here. Next up would be the Spyderco Roadie. This is a knife that I used to carry in that fifth pocket all the time. And I used to have 3 or 4 of them. I got kind of obsessed with it for a while. And I've just recently started carrying it in that fifth pocket again. It's just a great little slip joint. It was originally designed to fit a TSA standard that never happened, so that you could have it on a plane, but they got rid of that. So, but it came out with a really good knife, and I just really like it. It's an Italian Spyderco, which is pretty rare. N690. These are just cool. Like I said, I used to have 3 or 4 of them. This is the only one I have left. But this spent a little bit of time on a keychain, but now it just drops in that fifth pocket. It's been through the wash a couple times because I forget that it's there. But really cool little knife. Really like these. And this is something I used to just buy them, I think, like just to fill out a cart or something to get free shipping or whatever. I just buy another Roadie. I think I had 3 or maybe even 4 of them at a time at one point. Next up would be the Dragonfly 2, which is, it's in my pocket. That's why I couldn't find it in my bag. Actually, I had it on me today. The Dragonfly 2 Wharncliffe, to be specific. I like the regular Dragonfly okay, but the Wharncliffe I really like. It is still that VG10 fancy plastic handle combo, which I don't really love from Spyderco. I don't like their VG10 that much. It's fairly soft. I think the plastic can feel kind of cheap. Sorry if my dog's barking. We're babysitting. The child is bothering the dog, I assume, is what's going on. But very cool little knife. This Wharncliffe is just super easy to have in that fifth pocket, pull it out to open packages, stuff like that. This thing got a lot of use over the holidays. Really, really cool knife. And the ergos are great. Really, really, really like the Dragonfly 2. Next up would be probably the channel-wise the most significant knife in this grouping, but I don't use it that much anymore. But this is the knife that got me into knives. I did a video about it. I'll try and remember to link to it at the end. The knife that broke me, the one that kind of got me into knives, and that would be the Mannix-Lightweight. This is just the plain old BD1 version. I hear it's going to BD1N for the base version, but we will see. I don't use this one as much anymore, simply just because I have better stuff, but it's still just a great worker user knife. I've always wanted to get an upgrade. Well, I did get an upgraded one once. I got the Knife Depot, I believe, exclusive orange with the S90V. And at the end of the day, I couldn't deal with the orange. So I should have, and you can't take it apart, so I couldn't really blade swap it or anything. I couldn't deal with the orange at the end of the day, but I kind of want a Max Met one, but they're really pricey. I don't know, but this basic one is still a great freaking knife. They're well under $100, and it's lightweight, as the name would imply. Back when Spyderco Lightweight meant something. Some Spyderco Lightweights now aren't really that lightweight, so they're just FRN, but that's a whole other thing to go on about. But yeah, the Spyderco Tenacious Lightweight weighs 3.8 ounces, they just announced. All right. But anyway, yeah, it is a great knife, great ergonomics. I always love the Mannix. I think I like the Mannix better than the PM2 overall. This is currently the only Mannix that I own. I did have a Crewwear one, Knife Center exclusive, but I auctioned that off for charity. That was always what I intended to do with it. I need to get another G10 Mannix. I'm really tempted to get an S110V Blurple, but this is, or the Max Met of this, I don't know. But that'll never go anywhere, because this is the reason why this channel exists. So if you want to blame one knife, which I don't know why you'd blame a knife for anything, but blame the Mannix too. Next up would be the, gotta flip my thing around here, Para 3 Lightweight, another lightweight. This is my favorite Para 3, or some of the other versions of the lightweight they have with better steel and stuff, but this is just the standard BD1N version. I used to have an S110V Blurple Pair 3. I used to have a Crewwear G10 Pair 3, and they all went away because I don't really like the Pair 3 a whole lot. It's just the look of it. It never really just resonated with me. I think it's a great knife. I know a lot of people really love them, and I don't blame them for it, but it never really resonated with me. So if I need to keep a Pair 3 around the channel, I have to have one for size comparisons and stuff like that. If I'm going to have one, it may as well be the cheapest one. So that's where I went with it. Next up, probably going to be a surprise to some real Spyderco fans that it's this quote-unquote low down the list. It's like, what, just slightly more than halfway. But it'll be the PM2. This is by far my favorite version of the PM2. This is the Crewwear Smooth G10 Knife Center exclusive. I think this is the only exclusive that I have, because every time I buy Spyderco Sprint runs, I sell them because somebody offers me ridiculous money and I let them go. And but this one is just a dealer exclusive. It's not as exclusive, and I love Crewwear. It's a great steel, and I love the Smooth G10. This is an earlier one, so it's a bit shinier and smoother than I know I think they did a second run. I know the Pair 3 in this version was definitely a not as smooth G10, but I really like it, and the smoothness doesn't matter. You're so locked in on a PM2, and the PM2 is a great freaking knife. It's one of the all-time great EDCs, absolutely for sure. But for me, I just don't find myself carrying it a whole lot. I appreciate that it's great, but when I have to grab something to carry, it's not often this. Occasionally, some months I really get into it and I carry it a lot for a couple weeks, but it doesn't happen that often. There are other Spydercos that I like to carry a whole lot more. One of which is our next. This is a fairly new edition. I know I got it at Blade Show. It is the Native Chief, which this is a huge knife, and I don't normally like huge knives. You'll get like a 4-inch blade, but it doesn't carry like that at all. It feels so much smaller in your pocket. It's really hard to quantify, and I don't know why the G10 on this always has something on it. I think the last time I showed this on it, I think I'd gotten toothpaste on it, and now I don't even know what that is, but it's just a really comfortable, easy to use knife. And like I said, it carries so much smaller. I think actually in the pocket, it feels smaller than the PM2. Not by a dramatic amount, but by a little bit. And it's just, I really enjoy carrying this knife, and I carry it, and it has become not a beater, but definitely a user. I don't think twice, if I'm going out to cut stuff up. S3V steel. I don't remember what the price on these are, 140, something like that. Maybe way less than that. I don't remember. But it's just a knife that it's not a cheap knife, but it's one that I don't mind using a lot. And it's big. It's very slicey. I really enjoy it. It's not like much of a fidget factor to it, but it's a good one. And it's definitely my favorite so far of the big backlock Spydercos. I like it a lot better than the Endura or the Police or ones like that. And the Police isn't backlock, as I think, but you know what I mean. It's my favorite of the big Spydercos, I guess I should say. Next up would be the Chaparral. This is one of these. This is one of two, I think. Yeah, that are well, three sort of. It's so nice I bought it twice. I used to have the lightweight Chaparral. I really liked it. But it just didn't, it was the FRN stuff. So I went out and with a trade with a buddy, wound up getting this carbon fiber one, CTS XHP, Taichung, Taiwan. Just ergos are really, really good for a knife this size. Very slicey little blade. I really enjoy this knife. The only reason it's not up higher is it is a fairly short cutting edge, and that is a very thin slicey blade. It's great for doing thin slicey stuff. Not great for much else. So yeah, if you're doing anything remotely heavy duty, it's probably not good for that. Wire clip, you're going to see a lot of wire clips in these top few, because I really do like the wire clip. Just a really cool slicey little knife, and I'll always have a Chaparral around. They're neat. They're just neat. They sound like my mom. Next up would be these Shaman, and this is also a knife, so nice. Oh, that's the wrong one. I grabbed the wrong one out of there. Look at that. Live television, everybody. They have the same pocket clip. I got confused. I pulled the Native Chief out again. The Chaparral. Or this is not the Chaparral. The Shaman. I'm going to get this right one of these days. You know what? We're doing it live. I'm not editing it. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. Sometimes I say things wrong. Sometimes I get mush mouth. That's just the way it is. But again, this is another knife so nice I bought it twice. I had a Shaman. I really liked it. They jacked the price way up on them. I got kind of angry about that. I bought it at the old price, so I don't know why I was mad about it. But I sold it, and then I immediately missed it. So it took me a while, but again, another trade with a friend. I wound up with another one. Compression lock, big, beefy sucker. And honestly, that's the only reason why it's not higher up the list. It's just a big, beefy sucker. And you can't, I personally can't carry this every day. I carry it a lot, but, you know, there are times when I just don't want this big beast in my pocket. That's just how it is. I know it's not as big as some other knives, but it's pretty tall, you know, in the closed position. And it does take a bit. I don't have a deep carry clip for this yet. I used to have one on my old one, and I should probably get another one. Also, you have that little thing with the compression lock that people complain about, but I've kind of gotten used to it. But, you know, where the little tab will hit your finger. So it's not as fidgety as some others. This hasn't been flipped in a while. There we go. You have to kind of time it. That's the only thing that really keeps it from being higher, is that little tab coming into the finger path, and that it's pretty big. It's a pretty big, beefy knife. Next up would be the next three. The top three are really, you could throw a handkerchief over them. I mean, it's like they're really close together. It was really tough to pick my top three, but third, I would have to say, is the Sage 5, another Tai Chung knife. And actually, all the top three are Tai Chung, spoiler alert. But I've always loved the Sage 5. The ergos are so good, and it's just such a great knife. I really enjoy it. S30V, not world-ending steel or anything, but the ergos on it are so good. I like it so much better than the Para 3. The blade thickness is thick enough. It's definitely not a heavy-use blade, but it's thick enough for usual stuff. I like the peel ply carbon. As you can see from other choices that have been on here, it does not bother me a tiny little bit. I think it looks all right. As you can see, I carry this one a lot because it is filthy. But I really like it. Compression lock. Mine is great. I was very disappointed in the Sage 5 lightweight because it's not that lightweight, and B, I know it's got the bushings to make the action work better, but mine works so good that I really couldn't tell a difference. I know other people are saying they can tell a dramatic difference. I can't. You can see how well this one works. It works great. So as it's bouncing off, yeah, it drops so fast it bounces off half the time. So I don't know. I just didn't care that much about the Sage 5 lightweight. I really wanted it to be great, and I wanted to buy one. And the one that I had into review, I had the opportunity to buy, and I don't want it. So that's just how it goes. I prefer the regular one. I prefer to spend the extra money and have the nicer scales and have it weigh a little bit more. That's just me, though. Next up would be, in second place, which the top two were hard to decide. Second would be the Chaparral. I really love the Chaparral. This is not a CQI version. The CQI, again, has that pivot bushing inside of it to make it drop a bit smoother. But again, same situation. My particular one has always been like that. So I don't feel a need to sell this one and get a CQI version. I thought about it, but this just works great. Mine has always been very good. It's always been very well centered. It always dropped really well. It's just been a great knife. So why would I change it? But the knife itself, the Chaparral, Alistair Phillips design, again, Tai Chung, Taiwan. I love the carbon. It's super nice carbon. I love the ergos. I love the blade shape. I use this thing all the time, especially, I've said this before. I think every time I mention the Chaparral, I have a tendency I like to eat breakfast sometimes at crappy diners, and I get steak and eggs. Not always the best steak in the world. This is a great steak knife. It's just so good because when you get handed a really crappy steak knife at a really crappy diner, I like to eat at crappy places. That's usually where the best food is. But I whip this out and it works great, and I really enjoy it for that. I enjoy it for just regular EDC tasks. It's just a really nice knife to carry. It's been fantastic. But the winner, my favorite one in my collection, as of right now, as of January of 2020. Oh, I actually managed to say 2020 instead of 2019. It's in my pocket today. I got this fairly recently, but I had a loaner of another one for a few months. So this is almost a knife so nice I bought it twice, but I had a loaner for like a couple months, and I carried it a lot and had to go buy myself one. This is the CQI version, the Spidey Chef. It's my favorite. Martine Swish design, again, Tai Chung. LC200N, it is completely, you know, rust proof as much as something can be rust proof. This is a newer one, so it has the ceramic detent ball, so you don't have to worry about that. It's got the black screws, which I don't know what changed with the black screws, but this is the CQI 2 version. I assume the screws are more rust, which I don't know. They decoded the screws anyway. Wire pocket clip again, carries really well. The LC200N holds up pretty well. It's not like, you know, M390, but as far as edge retention, but it's more than acceptable. I love the blade shape. I love the ergos. It's so slim. I love the way it carries. And I treat this as Spyderco intended to treat it. I will use it in the kitchen or whatever, or not even sometimes the kitchen, just if it gets dirty, I just rinse it out in the sink and I don't worry about it. And it's been fine. I think I've torn it apart a couple times to re-lube it, but it probably didn't need it. It's just me being me, and I like to take knives apart sometimes, and if I haven't taken one apart in a while, I'll take it apart just to do it. And so, but it hasn't really needed it. It's been, you just rinse it off in the sink and it's fine. It's absolutely fine. And it's just a completely, in the nicest possible way, thoughtless knife. It's just a knife that I don't even think about. They're not inexpensive. They're over $200, but I don't care. You know, there's just not that much to damage on it. And I really love that about it. And I carry the heck out of this thing. Often paired with a Roadie, or like today, you know, I had the Dragonfly 2 Warncliffe. I like to match my knives. When I carry two knives, I usually try and do the same brand because I'm a weirdo. But I love the Spidey Chef. It is my favorite right now. And again, these are just the ones I own. So say your favorite Spyderco's down below. And if it wasn't on here, that's probably because I didn't like it enough to buy it. I think I've held almost all the ones that are currently in production. There are some new ones coming out that interest me, and I'll probably grab a couple of those. But so far, as of January 2020, that's the ranking of my Spyderco collection. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.